G'day YouTube, Big G back again with another video. Now normally at this time of the month I will do a auction madness, pickups and so forth, but this month has been extremely quiet. I've been to a number of auctions and garage sales and there's just been almost nothing. So I'm going to cut through the whole lot about where I normally put in all the little auction scenes, because you're not really going to see anything that's gaming related. I ended up only really buying tools and furniture and stuff like that, which has nothing to do with games. So I'm going to skip that bit this month. So next month hopefully I'll be able to pick up something at the auctions, and I'll be able to show you some of that, because I enjoy the auctions and I hope you guys enjoy them too. So I'm just going to go straight through to my pickups for August. And the biggest pickup for me for August was my cousin came down from the UK, and what normally happens is he collects all the stuff that I buy on eBay in the United Kingdom, and then when he comes across to South Africa, then he brings the whole package with him. This saves me a lot of money on postage, etc. And although it takes time, sometimes I can wait 6 months to a year to get the stuff, inevitably it still arrives. And it's still a lot of fun to open the box, and half of the stuff I've forgotten I've even purchased. And some of the stuff I thought I purchased never arrived. That's the worst thing about it. Gee, I tell you what, there's some crooks on eBay. So, and the problem I have is that by the time I get the stuff a year later, it's really difficult now to go back to the seller and say, listen, the stuff never arrived, because it's taken me so long to actually get the stuff. So I'm going to get straight into it. Some really nice stuff, and I've enjoyed collecting for the Ataris. I'm sure you've seen on some of my previous vids. Anything to do with Atari, I really enjoy the Atari systems. This is for the Atari 400-800 computer chess, and I love these cartridge games. There's something about them. They were really expensive back in the day, so this is quite, the box is nice. And thanks to Vota, the Highlander, he explained to me when it says left cartridge on the top there, it's because the old Atari 400s and I think the 800s had 2 slots, so it told you stick it in the left slot. So and it's got the manual and everything, so this is great. Computer chess, as well as Ball Blazer, also for the Atari XL and XE's system. Cartridges in there. I don't think the manual's there, but the box is still great. I haven't played this. I think I've played this on the Spectrum before. This is Cosmic Cruncher for the VIC-20. I love collecting these great old cards for the VIC-20. VIC-20 was a great system. I never owned one back in the day. I used to play on my cousin's system, but they've got these great old cartridges, and I've got quite a few of them now in my collection. And I pick them up whenever I can. So this is Cosmic Cruncher, as well as, what is this here? This is for the Spectrum. So there's a real mixed bag. So, a Rally Driver for the Spectrum 48K, tape based, and Road Fighter for the MSX, one of my favorite systems. This and the Spectra Video. So I can't remember what I paid for any of these things. It's been such a long time. But love these. You can see it comes out, slides out sideways. It's got the manual, which is great, and I love this box that they've kept it in, because normally you only end up with the cartridge. Everybody seems to throw away the packaging, which is such a shame. And this one, this Road Fighter, I don't think it's such a great game. I think I've actually played it. Not a brilliant game, but it's a Konami game, and most of the Konami games are really good on the old MSXs. And what I liked was the condition this was in. So really great condition. Nice addition to my collection. And then a whole box full of, I'm not going to go through them individually. These are all MSX games. But no, I mean, whoops, it doesn't help if I break them. But without the covers. So obviously what somebody's gone and done is they've taken the covers out and maybe reused the cassette cases for their music cassettes. Who knows? And they've got rid of all these. So there's like Nighttime, Jumping Jack, all MSX games. A whole lot of different ones. I love going through these, seeing what works, what doesn't work, and finding some gems amongst it. So, and I think I paid like £1 for it. It's really cheap. Otherwise I wouldn't have got it, especially without the cassettes. And then I don't think it was with that same seller. Another bunch of cassette games. These are for, let's have a look here, mostly for the MSX. So Jet Set Willy for the MSX, Exploding Atoms for the MSX, Buzz Off, yeah, Chucky Egg, Feud for the MSX, Humphrey, 6-in-1 computer hits, Qubit, which I think I played on the Spectre video, and the one that I really like, because it's one of my, is Alien 8, you know, from Ultimate Play the game. You know, a lot of their games were ported to the MSX, so really chuffed about that. And then, yeah, this was one of the main purchases that I did in the UK, and that is a boxed Sega Game Gear. This was never really well, I never saw it back in the day in our local shops here in South Africa, so yeah, the chances of getting one in South Africa is very slim, especially a boxed one. And this one's in really good condition, and I paid, what was it? I think I paid £40 for it, so not cheap, especially when you convert it to South African rands, because you know at the moment the South African rand is 21 rand to £1. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. I think it's 14 rand to $1. Yeah, back in the bad old days of South Africa, I can remember the rand being worth, I think it was $1. It was 1 to 1, you know, when I was still in my, many years ago. So basically 1 to 1. So can you imagine now if the rand was still worth 1 to 1? I would go crazy on eBay. But unfortunately, nobody wants our currency now. Back then they wanted it, doesn't figure. Now they don't want it. But anyway, so yeah, this Game Gear got everything inside it. Now the seller said that he'd recapped it. Whether he has or he hasn't, all I know is I have tested it and it works perfectly. The sound is there, the colors are there, everything is there. It's in good condition. A couple of little scratches on top of the screen here. I don't know if you can actually see that. And what I noticed when it arrived here, now this has come a long way. They left some of the loose games, because there were some of these loose games that came with it. They left them lying like this inside the box. I mean, why? You know, it's crazy. So all the time this is, you know, it's gone and it's scratched the living hell out of the screen of it. So what a pity. I'm going to try to buff it out. You know, people just don't always think, you know, when they pack these things that things can get damaged. And then some games that came with it, Sonic Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Dynamite Headdy. Dynamite Headdy. So I'm really chuffed about that. This is a new handheld for my collection. And oh, let me get this, quite a heavy box. Hence it would have cost me an arm and a leg. It still cost me an arm and a leg to come through to South Africa, even with my cousin. A Amiga, what's this? Amitech PAL modulator for the Amiga. You know, I bought this also, it was like a pound or something like that, just in case I needed it. Unfortunately, I got one with my Amiga the other day, so that was fine. And then another system I enjoy collecting for is the good old Sega Master System. So Sega Tour Golf, and these come up really cheaply there in the UK. This one's not, covers a bit buggered, Ghostbusters, but you know, the games are all there and the manual's there, so you know, they should all work. They're quite bulletproof. So Ghostbusters, Lemmings, and that's one thing I must say, that Sega, they really provided great indestructible cases. You know, Time Soldiers, I think I've played that before, which is great. And a Games Workshop game, Tower of Despair. I mean, this actually looks quite interesting. For the 48K Spectrum, I'm actually going to tempted to give that a play, because I enjoy those old adventures as well. East, west, north, south, and so forth. And then some of the things that actually add a lot to the weight. I've got 2 Amstrad CPCs in my collection. None of them work, and you know, I don't have power supplies for them. So I purchased a Module MP1 power supply from the UK, so I can, you know, attach this instead of having to work through the monitor, and because that may be where the issue is, and I can try and get those old Amstrads up and running. So I've got that power supply and another power supply, which is the Sinclair Plus 2 power supply. I've got a black Sinclair Plus 2. Where is it? Oh, here it is over here. Here's my old Sinclair, but I haven't really spent. It's not working at the moment, but I didn't have a power supply for it, so I'd rather wait until I get a proper power supply, and then I can try and tinker and get it up and running again. So that's about most of the stuff, that all the biggest, you know, a lot of stuff that I got for August. Otherwise a very quiet month this side over here. Not much happening at all. As I said, lots of auctions I've been to, garage sales, but absolutely nothing in the line of gaming. On the arcade side of things, there I managed to get quite a few little bits and pieces. So that's because I'm busy building up my own arcade machine. So that's going to be a separate project. So I've got a power supply and a transformer and buttons and all sorts of things, and because I've got a couple of spare motherboards for arcades, and I'm going to start building that up and do that in future videos. So guys, yeah, that's all from me this month, and yeah, cheers.